are recording. Awesome. So welcome everyone to how to quit doing cold calling, right? And how to get prospects and high paying clients without ever picking up that phone, which for most people is a very difficult task to do. And guess what? You don't have to do it. I never do it. Not cold calls anyway. They're warm or very, very hot. So you're in the right place if this is the information that you want tonight. All right, so I am going to switch over and share my screen, and then we are going to take a look at my PowerPoint. All right, I thought I had it right up there. There you go. Okay, so we're going to start our PowerPoint slide presentation tonight. All right, so how to attract high-paying clients fast without the agony of prospecting, which can be very, very stressful to call and, constantly get voicemails or constantly get, the phone, kind of turned off, especially if you're calling from a not-for-profit. It can be very, very, very disturbing, right? So we don't have to do that. There's a better way. I have found a better way, and I want to show you that better way today. All right. So first of all, I just want to tell a little bit about my background for those of you that are new to the call or new to my training. And it's important because I didn't set out to be a public speaking trainer. My degree is in information systems, and I used to work downtown LA in this building, and then later on in this building. And it was really cool because you could stand right here, and it was like this road. And it was actually, this is an off-ramp, but we could see the freeway. And it looked like the freeway was coming right into the building. But I worked for a company by the name of Deloitte Haskins and Sells back in the 80s. And it is a big 8 CPA firm. Now it's one of the final fours. In my office alone, there was probably 2,500 or more employees, staff, managers, partners. And my job was to set up financial accounting systems for small businesses. Now, I was in the small, what they called back then, the emerging business department. And back in the 80s, all of it, the accounting was done by hand. It was all done by pegboards. It was all done, by some sort of ledger sheets. We didn't have automated or computerized accounting for smaller companies. Only the big companies and the Fortune 500 companies could even afford computers that took up the size of a room, that had to be, in a very air-conditioned, sterile, clean environment. So we've come a long ways with being able to, do everything on our phone. But this was a revolutionary time, like any revolutionary time. So my boss came to me and he said that he wanted me to go out and speak and tell people that we offered this service since it was brand new. And so I thought, okay, I can do that. I took one speech class in college. I was good to go. I knew everything there was to know about public speaking, or so I thought. And that's how many people think that, right? That they know all there is to know about public speaking. And most people don't, right? We've all heard those kind of speakers. Well, I was one of them, and I thought I knew everything. So I went out there and spoke. Now, when you're with a company that size, speaking opportunities just open wide and furious, right? A lot of speaking opportunities in front of many potential clients and companies and businesses and networking groups, you name it. But the only problem was I didn't get any business. And I didn't get any business because I didn't know what I was doing, and much less know how to become persuasive or even how to get the business or ask for the business, right? So all I did is talk. I remember those were back in the days when we had, what did we have, those clear things, overheads, right? You'd make your overheads. We didn't have PowerPoint even back then. So we'd do overheads, and sometimes they would be they would be upside down. I didn't know what I was doing. And so, and I didn't even have a clue. And people would finally be yelling at me, it's upside down, it's upside down. So I'm like, okay. Anyway, I didn't get any business, and nobody even came up to talk to me at the end of my talk, and I didn't know what I was doing wrong. And that happens to a lot of us, right? There's something that we're doing wrong. It doesn't matter what it is, but we just can't put our finger on it. We need somebody else to tell us. We need that coach or mentor to tell us what we're doing wrong. And so one day this woman came up to me, and she, and I broke into my happy dance. And I thought to myself, yippee, woohoo, somebody's coming to talk to me. I really was stoked because I thought I broke through that barrier and I was getting better. And instead, she looked at me and she said, honey, I hate to tell you this. And I'm like thinking to myself, I mean, I was really young back then. So I'm like thinking, well, don't, I didn't want any bad news. But I was brave and I braced myself and I said, well, what is it? And she said, honey, do you know that after every sentence you say, okay? And I just looked at her mortified. And the only thing I could think of saying back was, okay. But I got it just like that I was the problem. That just because I could flat my jaw and speak, right, didn't make me a speaker. And I learned in that moment that public speaking, like everything else, needs to be respected, which means you need to learn how to do it right. It deserves the training. It deserves the investment. And so do you. And so I decided that wasn't going to happen to me, that I was going to get trained, whatever it took. However much money it took, I was going to do it because I didn't want to look like a fool, again, in the eyes of my colleagues or many other people. So I went to the library, checked out books, did some self-study, which helped a little, but really it was when I went and got trained, it was when I hired a mentor and a coach to see what I was doing, that I improved. And all of a sudden, just like that, I would go out and I would go blah, 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 poof, clients. And I thought to myself, this stuff really works. Let's be sure. I'd go blah, 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 blah again. Poof, clients. And not only clients, but great clients. Clients that wanted systems. Clients that wanted, multiple systems, and meaning that they wanted payroll, accounts payable, receivables, inventory, job costs. I mean, big systems where you could work at for 6 months. Oh, my company loved that. It wasn't long before I had to hire staff to do the work because it was just too much for me. And then that was just the beginning of the rocket ship of my career. And then throughout my career, I still spoke. And as a matter of fact, I would train other people during lunch and learns, and then my boss got a wind of that, so he had me train on a regional basis, our regional consultants and CPAs, because they constantly need continuing education. So I did that for 23 years in my career, and I climbed the corporate ladder, and then bam, once again something happened that changed my life and everybody's life, and that was 9/11. And it wasn't so much the incident. I mean, it was the incident. It was, of course, horrible, but it was a wake-up call. And it was a wake-up call for many, and for me in particular, because as I was sitting there in my office, I realized, how short life can be. I realized that I was a hamster on a wheel, that I wasn't making a difference anymore. And my staff could do everything I could do better, faster, cheaper than me. And so I decided it was time to make a change. Now, I didn't know what kind of change to make because this is all I knew. This was my life. This was my, everything. My degree, everything that I knew was all about computers and information systems and, flow charts and accounting, and that was all I knew. And so I did what any smart girl would do. I prayed about it. And it wasn't long before God gave me the answer. And he put it this way. He said, train others. Well, he said, teach others what I taught you. And public speaking is what he was talking about. So I left corporate America 15 years ago now. I've worked for myself longer than I've worked for any employer. How cool is that? And I love my boss. I just love my boss. Anyway, so I hope you're laughing. If you're laughing, put ha in the chat box so I can see it. Anyway, so I left corporate America 15 years ago and started my own entrepreneurial company. And since that time, it's mind-blowing. I mean, not only have I survived the biggest recession we've had, but also I've trained over 5,000 people and given over 3,500 speeches all over the world. And I don't say that to brag. I really don't. Well, maybe just a little bit. But I say it to impress upon you that you can do this too. That the only difference between me and you is that I teach a system. I learn the system. I know how to use it. And I teach it to others so they get the same results I do. There's no magic that I have that other people don't have, except that I know the system. So that's what this is all about, is learning that system and use it. Let me open up my chat box here and see what I have here. Okay. Oh, yeah. Good. Thank you. I've got some laughs. Good. Thank you. I'm going to put my chat box right over here in the corner. So feel free to write in that. Okay. Good. Thank you, Bill. I can hear your laugh from here. I know. Okay. So enough about me. Let's go on. Most of you have heard that story before that've been here, and thank you for bearing with me. Because it's like your professional story, you're going to say it over and over again, and sometimes you can add things depending on if you have more time, and sometimes maybe you cut it short. So, but it's always the same basic story. So my goal tonight is to give you some great information about how you don't have to pick up that phone, how you can use another approach, and I'm sure you've already guessed what it is, but also to have some fun as we learn. So keep your chat box open and be ready to type, because it really makes it a lot more fun for you, for me, and for everybody else. So that's my goal. All right, so if you stay to the end, I have a little gift for you. So don't leave early because you won't get the gift. You will have to stay on the webinar to get the gift. All right, so what makes this webinar a little bit different than others? Well, as I said, I've given over 3,500 speeches, trained over 5,000 business owners, given over 700 events, got 30 plus years in speaking. And oh, and I got to update my PowerPoint because it's actually 15. I just celebrated my 15th year in business training others. Now, during those last 15 years, I've done a lot of things right. I sure have. Boy, and I'm on it. If we ever sit down and have coffee or you come to one of my training, I'll tell you what they are. But I've done some things wrong too. And I teach what I do wrong. In my training classes, I'll teach you those big pitfalls and how to avoid them, because I don't want you to learn the hard way by me. Because I don't know about you, but maybe you don't have 15 years that you can learn it like I did in the last, well, 30 years. Maybe you don't. I learned it in 15 and then started my own company. But maybe you don't have that much time, so you just kind of want to learn fast what to avoid and what to do, and that's what we're here to do. Also, woohoo, 15 years. Hey, Jean, how are you? Good to see you here. All right, so one thing I did learn about doing things wrong, it always costs you money. It costs you money, it costs you time, and worse yet, reputation. And in the speaking world, reputation is something that's very, very hard to regain once you step out there and ruin it. So I don't want you to do that. I want you to learn how to do this right. So after training businesses and entrepreneurs for over 15 years, a couple of things I have discovered. And that is, speaking is a learned skill, not a talent. It's not a gift that you have to be born with. That means that anybody can learn how to do it and learn how to do it right, even you. It doesn't matter if you're scared to death. It doesn't matter if you're not sure what to say. It doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are. It doesn't matter. If you learn how to do it using my system, you can do it and sound is confident and like a seasoned pro in your first speech. So that's the goal. All right, another thing I've learned is my other proven persuasive speaking systems. Anyone can learn. Now, I have one speaker system. I don't have my, I didn't put them on this PowerPoint, but if you saw my speaker system, you see it's pretty elaborate. But I have systems for everything, for stories, for follow-up, for elevator speech, for self-introduction, for the speaker introduction, for the one sheet, on and on and on. So there's lots of systems. And anyone can learn how to do it, gain that confidence, look like a seasoned pro that use them. And everyone has a unique message to share that only you can share to people that can only hear it from you. And that's important, and that message will impact the world. Yes, it will. It will impact the world. It will leave its mark. It might leave a dent, it might leave a big hole, doesn't matter. You've got something that's going to impact the world. Even if your world is a small community, or maybe it's something huge. Maybe you're going to be a judge. Maybe you're going to go into politics. Maybe you're going to, step into churches and step, on large stages. It doesn't matter. But what does matter is the beginning is the same for everyone. It's the same. We all start at the same. We all start at the same place. Even if you've been speaking for a little bit, you're going to start at the same place because you're going to learn the system. And that is what's going to be new. All right, so when you do use speaking as a marketing strategy, you will never have to cold call again, ever. I promise you. It's an old technique. I want to just get rid of that cold calling. And that means door knocking too. So if you're in real estate, forget the door knocking. I was talking to a financial planner the other day, and what their company has them do is go into gas stations and grocery stores and cold connect to people. Financial, it's like, are you kidding me? I'm not going to be at the grocery line and hire somebody like that off the cuff, and they're wondering why it didn't work so good. Well, don't do it. They would have been far better off to stand in front of a group of people talking and sharing the benefits than, knocking on doors, picking up the phone, or cold connecting in grocery stores. I know it's crazy. You're probably going, what? True story. All right, so now the hard way is going to expensive seminars. Now, they're not cheap because you have to buy breakfast, lunch, or dinner. So it adds up after a while, especially weekly meetings can add up very fast. And most of the time, you only get a handful of people. Some groups I've visited, like 7, 8 people, which isn't very many. Some are as big as 80 people. So, but it doesn't matter. A lot of times you meet a handful of people, no matter what size it is. And those people, maybe you don't like them anyway. Maybe they're not, maybe they're trying to sell too hard to you. Maybe they're, a service or maybe they're, a product and you don't need it or whatever. And so also the hard way is attending these networking meetings week after week, trying to build those relationships, but not having any sales, not having any clients, no leads. Maybe they're not your potential clients. See, not all networking groups have your potential client in them. Now, you can pick and go to a group to speak at that would be full of your potential client. But when you're a member of a networking group, they may be filled with all kinds of other services and products that aren't ever going to buy from you. So that's not, it's fun to go, but that's not where you want to speak. You want to target where you want to speak and target the specific networking groups. And then the other hard way is picking up that 100-pound phone, right? And making those calls, leaving those messages, and just have no one return the calls and getting nowhere. And that's the problem today. All right. Now, if you want the easy way to close more sales, make more money, and change lives for a living, and that's what I do, and that's what I teach others to do, then there is another way. Because you see, the problem is that cold calling doesn't work anymore. Maybe it did a long time ago, and your salespeople in the insurance business and financial business, they're still doing that, right? They're still doing that. But for most of us, it just doesn't work. Now, why? Why doesn't it work today? Because people are using their cell phones, and they're not always giving their cell phones out. They can identify the number, and if it's somebody that they don't identify, oftentimes they don't pick up. So that's a couple problems with cell phones. And if they're using landlines, like I have both, they're not answering them. They have caller ID. Sometimes they're not answering. When I see, and keep this as a secret, but when I see a not-for-profit organization come through my phone, I don't answer it. I just don't. It's hard for me to say no, right? I do a lot of donating things that come in the mail, but over the phone, I just don't want to be pinned into saying yes, especially when it's the policeman or it's the fireman. I'm like, I melt. Oh, okay. How much money do you want? So if I see it coming through, I don't answer today. All right. And then also messages get slipped through the cracks. So if someone is taking the message, or even if you're leaving a voicemail message, you think you're in because you've got their voicemail, it gets slipped through the cracks. It doesn't get recorded, or it doesn't get written down, or it gets written down and then they forget about it. And we're all guilty of that. Boy, I tell you, it's like 2 days go by and I'm like, oh my God, I didn't call him back. I'm sorry. Not my clients, right? Bill, I'll call you back in 2 minutes. But, that's people that I'm not quite sure what they're calling me about. Could take a little bit longer. So these are some problems why cold calling just doesn't work anymore. Ouch, Bill says, ouch. What are you saying ouch to? Oh, something I said. Uh-oh. All right, so the result is people are not being served. They're not being served. And at the end of the day, we want to serve our clients and our people. And if they don't know who we are, if we're the biggest secret, if we're just trying to call, it's not always working. Ouch to the cold calls. Okay, good. All right, so what is the answer? What is the answer? Well, first we're going to have a little quiz because I want to have a little more participation. All right, I'm going to see. Okay, great. All right, so in the chat box, and if you don't know where the chat box is, just hover at the bottom of your screen. It's over toward the right. So by adding public speaking to your business, it will provide you more visibility, true or false. So in the chat box, put true or false. All right, true or false. I'm waiting for more people. And I know you can all see the answers. Okay, true. Right, Patricia says true, Liz says true. Absolutely true. All right, it will provide the kind of visibility you need, because I'll tell you what, the only way to get more sales is to get in front of more people. That's it. It's not picking up the phone and making more calls. That's not doing it. I don't care if you make 100 or 100,000. It just today it's ineffective. It's just not going to work. But you could get in front of 100,000 people and watch your business grow. Right? Explode. Explode. All right. Very good. Yes, the answer is true. People can't buy from you if they don't know you exist. Right? Now, Bill was had this problem about, what, a year ago or so, and now he's speaking. He's gone through my speaker training intensive, and he's gaining momentum and getting out there and speaking more and getting known. All right, so now I just want to tell you, by speaking, I've made over $100,000 in one weekend by speaking. Now, I didn't have to pick up the phone, I didn't have to eat any rubber chicken, and I didn't have to listen to any boring conversations or be sold to. Most people, they show up and they throw up. You ask them about their business and they don't care who you are, what your needs are. They just go and they won't stop, right? And you're like looking around trying to figure out how to escape. And you all know what I'm talking about because we've all been there. All right, so how did I do it? I did it by speaking in other people's rooms and then taking that audience into my room. Now, I'll show you how I did it toward the end of the call today. But that's the bottom line. And I got them. Look at this room. Look at this room. This was an event I had with 83 people. It was for women. So you see they're mostly women. So 80 women and 3 men were at this event. I mean, bam. And it was a dinner. Very special event. That's just one of my 700 events. So I did it by having a free raffle, collecting business cards, scheduling 30-minute strategy sessions on the spot, and then, or doing a combo of both of them. All right, so at the end of the call, I'm going to share with you how to do a combo. That's simple. Now, you don't always have permission to do that, so you have to get permission. And then I want to share with you the 3 hidden secrets to create that $1 million message. Because you've got to have a great message before you can go and use that strategy to get the clients. All right, so let's now talk about your message. I did it by using my system, a system for speaking, a proven, duplicatable system. So that's number 1. I don't expect you to go out there and speak and get the same results I did, which is over $100,000 in one weekend, without learning my system. It just is not going to work. It's not going to happen. And I have people tell me all the time, oh, well, I've spoke for years. Well, what are your results? Are you getting clients? Are you getting leads and referrals? Are you a magnet? Or are people coming up to you at the end of your talk and saying, that was interesting? Because if they are saying that, you better run and pick up the phone and call me, because they're just saying you're boring and they don't want to hurt your feelings. So help is on the way. Pick up the phone. All right, the next one is by using acronyms, because acronyms are an easy way for you to get the information to your audience, and it's an easy way for them to accept it. So think about using acronyms. I use them almost every single talk I do, and I just love them. Just love them. And I make up new ones. Of course, the acronym has to make sense with the speech and the audience. And of course, without saying, it needs to be clean. All right. So, and again, it has to be the right size word for the right amount of time that you have to speak. So they're a lot of fun. Anyway, I teach how to put together acronyms, how to come up with them in my 4-day training. And stories are a must. Stories are a must. And there's 4 stories that you must have in your presentation. I'm going to share with you what those 4 stories are. But stories are a must. All right, so number 1 is your professional story, which I shared with you. The professional story, my professional story. I don't care how many times you've said your story. You want to say it over and over and over again. Even if you know your audience, like my audience here, many of you are already clients. You know, even if you've heard it, because it gives you that sense of being familiar with a story, and it gives you that sense that you can relax. And sometimes people hear things that they didn't hear before, because sometimes when I have a longer period of time, I'll talk more about it. If I have a shorter period of time, I just kind of give you the highlight, and you will too. But never leave out the story. Now, most business speakers don't even know about telling their professional story. They just get right into the information, right? They just turn on that fire hose and go, and you're like, whoa, I don't even know you, right? It's like you know, trying to marry somebody on the first date. I know some people do that, but you know, it's like, whoa, I don't even know you. This is iced tea, everybody. It's not whiskey, just to let you know. All right, so professional story and success stories are imperative to have in every presentation, because they are what will sell. They're what will act like the magnet, so you never have to pick up that phone. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Jenny. Jenny is one of my clients, and this is Charlie. And Jenny is an esthetician. All right, so an esthetician, they do facials. They do work with women and men, one person at a time. Now, oftentimes it's a little bit difficult to, you know, make 6 figures when you're working one person at a time and just changing the dollars for hours. So Jenny would go to this training, and here she is here, and she would listen to this gal, and she would like just imagine herself being on that stage. Just like, what if she could do that? What if she could increase her income by standing in front of people, teaching them, and then selling them products for their face and for their, you know, skin, right? That was her dream. That's what she imagined. So she came to my speaker training intensive, got certified. You do graduate and get certified. And then bam, next thing you know, within 3 months later, she is asked to be the speaker at a huge face and body conference. It says face and body in the Midwest, but it's actually in Pasadena, California. So bam, and she got to sell a ton of products, right? And made a ton of money. Now, just for this example alone, Jenny, before she even went and was a speaker at this event, she had little workshops of 6 people in her home-based office. I went to it and taught her how to sell from the back of the room and what to sell, because she wasn't selling any product. She was giving products away and losing money. And so instead, we packaged products with facials, and she turned a $600 seminar, because she was only selling $97 to come in, and she could only fit 6 people. But we turned that into a $6,000 event just because she learned the system for selling for back of the room and packaged it and made an irresistible offer. And we had her display it the whole time and make reference to it throughout the seminar. And the seminar was only 2.5 hours, right? So now she has that for the rest of her life. She knows how to do it. And she does her own seminars, right? And now she speaks on bigger stages. Voila, right? And now she knows all this information for the rest of her life. All right, and this is Hector. If you came to my last one day, which I know Liz did and Bill did, This guy was there, right? He's actually real, and I always point that out because people wonder, well, did you just make it up? No, Hector's alive, real. He came and even told his part of the story. But Hector, he kind of was like me in the beginning, where he thought he could just go out and speak because, he reasonably well speaker. But again, he didn't know how to close. And so he didn't get any sales. And he did it several times before he came to me and went through my training. And then the first time out of my training, bam, he went blah, 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 poof, $4,500, which more than paid for the training. You see, this is what you all have to think about. Yes, training is an investment, but this is one of the only investments that you could put in that one speech, blah, 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 blip, and you can get all your money back. Boom. If you do it right, and follow the system. It's easy. And he did it, followed the system, and now he has the skills for the rest of his life. And he's just cleaning up. And what his dream was, I forgot to tell you his business, but he wanted to speak to the Hispanic market, teach them sales, increase their lifestyle, and speak in Spanish. So he's got a very, very unique niche market. And now he's putting on his own seminars and getting people in his own room because that's the system to follow. So very proud of him. All right, so another quiz. There are 4 different kinds of stories that you must add to your presentation. True or false? I kind of already gave you the answer to this one, but true or false? All right, just chat it in the chat box. Okay, so we have a couple trues. Yes, Liz says true. Beautiful. Bridget says true. Right? Okay, yes, that's right. Deborah says true. Excellent. Very good. Very smart. All right, now let's hear from some more people real quick before I go on. So just type in true, 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 true. Okay, true. Excellent. All right, very good. Okay, so the answer is true, and I'll give you the opportunity to learn what they are. All right. So professional story, success story, the Hector story, the Jenny story, those are success stories. They're client testimonials, but you're telling them, so they're success stories. And I've got a gazillion of them. So you want to make sure you bring some of those on. Emotional stories, and those are, stories that tag at our emotion. And they don't necessarily have to be sad stories. You don't have to blubber when you're telling your story. They can be funny stories. So look for humor in your stories. And then stories with a lesson. So a lot of you have heard my camel story. I'm not going to share it tonight just because of the time. But it's always you want to use metaphors or stories that have a hidden lesson in them, that the audience will get that lesson, whichever lesson is right for them. So in my camel story, the intended lesson was for them to not be scared of speaking, but instead follow the system, right? The camel, it wasn't the camel's first time, it was my first time. Follow the system, trust your mentor. And when you get at the top of the mountain, we're talking about, I was on top of Mount Sinai, seeing the sunrise, and standing there, and for that moment in time, I felt closer to God than I've ever felt before. Spiritually, physically, everything. And if I let fear stop me, I wouldn't have had that feeling or a great story. So that's what I mean, but I don't tell it because it's different for each person. So story with a lesson, what's in it for them? All right, so actually I'm ahead of time. Woo! So I thought it was the past hour, but actually it's only been 30 minutes. So yay! Yay. All right, so what I wanted to share with you, one of the gifts I want to give you tonight is a way that you can create a postcard and create that, and I have one right here to show you, and create that to do a strategy session. Now, why is this important? You know what? For 15 years, I didn't have this. I collected business cards. I told people to write an S in the corner of the business card, which worked fine. And then all of a sudden, I found myself speaking at my chamber, and I only had 10 minutes. Now, when you have 10 minutes, you don't have time to collect business cards of 80 to 100 people in the room. That would have taken the whole 10 minutes, and I wouldn't have been able to give any value. So, what necessity is the mother of invention, you know. So I invented this, and I had it professionally done, which anything that you do has to be professional because it's a reflection on you. Also, it has to be branded. So this is branded from my website, my business card, same colors, same images. And then this half is the half that they tear off, give to me. This is the half they keep. So now they've got something to keep of you, right? With your phone number, your picture, and everything. Now this, again, I didn't have time to collect these, so I had to have a way that they could drop them off on the way out. So I just took like 30 seconds, probably 15, and told them that there was a basket near the door. I had one of my students actually there, and she held it up so everybody could see. I pointed in that direction, and then as people walked out the door, she stood there, I stood there, and we just kind of grabbed the cards from people, right? Now, 10 minutes, I got 19 leads, and several of them turned into clients, right? Thousands of dollars. Now, I did this strategy again last November. I don't do it every single time, because I do other strategies, and sometimes you don't have permission, so you have to get permission, that kind of thing. But I got permission to put these on everybody's chair at another event. It was a women's event, and I had an assistant. I had one of my students help me to collect the cards and went around the room to collect them. And I got, out of 80 people, because I had longer to speak, I have 40 minutes to speak, I received 36 hot leads. And I'm still closing because sometimes it takes a while, but already to date, I've closed $9,700. I mean, one 40-minute talk. So that's what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. This stuff works, right? It's not always about selling from the platform. In the beginning, it's about creating a way that people can get more information from you, because that's your duty, to get more information from you. So you've opened their hearts, you've opened their minds, their awareness, they're looking for help, so you need to give them a way to help you. And then you need to follow up. So I teach people a follow-up system, because this can be kind of crazy if you get a whole bunch of cards. How do you follow up? When do you follow up? You want to follow up within 24 hours of receiving these cards. 24 hours. So in the boxes, two or three things to put, like example, free strategy session, put the value, but always add, maybe you want to, mine has a seminar on it, but maybe you want to add booking you as a speaker, because you want one speaking engagement to go into another speaking engagement, to go into another speaking engagement, so that you're not stopping and starting all the time. Think of public speaking as your vehicle to get to wherever you want to go. Think of it as your vehicle. And you're on the road to success, and you've just defined your success for your business in maybe the number of sales, number of clients, maybe your network marketing, it's the number of team members, whatever success is to you. That's an individual thing, but here it is, and you set that goal. I'm going to make, 6 figures this year, or 7 figures, or I'm going to bring in 10 associates, or I'm going to bring in 100 clients, whatever that number is for you, whatever shows success to you. Think about you being in the car, and the car is public speaking. That's a vehicle, but you get to pick the car. So you can pick a Maserati and go as fast as you want. You can pick a Corvette. You could pick a little VW or an old car. It could be a Toyota. It doesn't matter. It depends on you and how fast you want to go down the road. I'm providing the vehicle. That's the system. But you select when and how often you're going to speak. So you could go fast. And I've had clients that have gone fast. My client Donna, who Bill was in training with, bam, she took it and she used this strategy, and she also used another strategy, which I'll share with you in a minute, and boom, boom, she kept getting speaking engagements. She would have 3 or 4 in 1 week. She took that Maserati down the road. You could also pick the road. You can pick a dirt road and go clunkety clunkety clunk, or you can pick a highway, or you can pick a freeway, or you can pick the Autobahn. And she picked the Autobahn and went and blew by everybody. So it's up to you, but I give you the vehicle and you pick the car, the type, make, and model, and you pick the road you want. And I advise you, when you're starting down this road, do not pick up any passengers. They will just load you down or say, let's go this way. I got to stop for a tinkle break, or I'm hungry and I got to stop over here. And it will take you longer to get to your destination. And what I mean by picking up passengers, when you start speaking or you start having a desire to speak, you're going to get people that are going to want to ride in your car. And they're going to want to do a seminar with you, and they're going to want to ride on your back. And don't do it. I'm telling you, every time students try to do it too soon, it collapses, it slows them down, and gets them off track. I'm not saying don't do that. I'm saying do that. But wait until you're on solid ground. Wait until your car is moving down the road. Wait until you're at your destination, and then you're setting a new destination. Then you can set a goal that you want to bring partners on or you want to bring other people on. But otherwise, your car will go much faster without any luggage, baggage, or other people. Got it? Put got it in the subject line. When I say got it, you say got it. I say good. Got it? Put got it in the subject, in the chat line. Got it. Good. Got it. Yes. Hey, Mary Giuliani, how are you? Mary's got a radio show, and I've been on her radio show. Excellent. Liz, yes, got it? Good. All right, good. Got it? Thank you, Deborah. Got it. Awesome. Got it. Okay, good. Yes, because that's absolutely, absolutely true. So, okay, now, I know old habits die hard. So what do I mean by that? We all have habits. So I want you to start some new habits. And the new habits are picking up the phone, not for cold calling clients, but picking up the phone to get speaking engagements. Now, you might say, is that a cold? No, because you're not selling your products or services. Because you're going to do this. You're going to first call them up and ask them, do you invite speakers to come and speak to your group? If the answer is yes, great, continue. Now it's no longer cold, right? And if it's no, then you're the one hanging up. So it's not a cold client. All right, it's not a cold call. You're not trying to sell them something. You are just asking them if they invite speakers. All right, so you're going to need to change some of your habits. All right, you're going to, get in that fast car, put your pedal to the metal, and go. All right, so a couple of things I want to share with you that I know is that you do have $1 million message inside of you. Everyone does, right? You have that message, I'll say it again, that only you can share to people that can only hear it from you. And that message will change somebody's life, their business, somebody else's life, your life. It is a life-changing message. And even you giving it will change somebody's life, but as you give it, it will change your own. Because you'll get it even at a deeper level. So you have that message. And the other thing I know is that you need to reach millions with that message. There's people waiting out there for your message. There's people that are suffering until they hear your message, right? Now, remember I said you have a message to share that only you can share, which everybody that knows me has heard that mantra, right? Maybe not before, but you've heard it now. But here's the thing. That message, if you don't deliver it, will be undelivered for all eternity. That's right. So what does that mean? That means that you would be selfish, because there's people out there that are suffering that need to hear that message, and you're not ponying up, or you're not stepping up or whatever to get the training you need to get out there and do it. You're letting stuff get in the way. You keep putting it off, which a lot of people do, right? Thinking there's going to be tomorrow. I'll tell you again, most of you that know me know my husband's been ill for a year with a chronic heart problem that happened like that. He got the flu and bam, he's been down for a year. This February, it's almost a year. And yes, he's a little better than he was, but he's no near. He doesn't even have the strength to talk to somebody standing up. He has to sit down and after just 30 seconds. He could never speak in front of a group, ever. He doesn't have the stamina, doesn't have the energy, doesn't have the breath of life anymore. And it happened like that. So if you think that you can put this off another year. Think again, all right? Just think again. So you need to take action and move. The world just doesn't wait for anybody. All right, so you can create millions of dollars with that message. And literally, it's how fast do you want to go in that car? Because speeches fuel the car. That's the gasoline. And you could just go as fast as you want with all that gasoline, right? You could turbocharge it and put it in gear. And I used to have a little stick at one time. What fun. And so very engaging. So you can go as fast or as slow as you want. Now, one thing, too, that I want to share with you is that people are waiting for your words. I love this image, right? This image tell you, it's like, hello, you know, when are you going to do it? That kind of thing. People are standing in line. People are waiting for hours. They're just waiting for you to make that commitment, to get off the duff, to get the training, to get in that car, and to get on those stages. And they're out there, and it's going to wait for you until you're ready, maybe, or until something else happens. And remember, if something should happen to you and you can't deliver that message, it'll be undelivered for all eternity. And those people that are suffering will continue to suffer. I don't mean to be the bad guy here, but sometimes that's what it takes, because my mission is to help people to become better speakers and to end other people's suffering. And it starts here, right? So if you don't do it, then it kind of hurts me, because then I'm not fulfilling my mission. So that's why I'm really passionate about helping you to get out there. All right, so you'll be thrilled that luck is on the way, that help is on the way, and I just want to talk a tiny, tiny bit in the 10 minutes that we have left about the speaker training, because I would be doing you a misservice if I didn't talk about it and offer it to you. Just know that. So if you want to get off and not want to hear about it, it's okay. I do have some more information at the end, but that's okay. I get it, you know, and it's not hard sell or anything. I just want to introduce the product and let you know what's involved and how you can do it. Because again, I would do you a misservice if I just said, bye now, go and get trained. That wouldn't be very good. Okay, so I want to tell you a little bit about my Superstar Speaker Training Intensive. And Liz Smith, who's on the call today, she's actually coming. She's going to be there. I only have 3 seats left. I only work with a small group of 10 people, all right? Now, I could make billions, believe me, if I would open it up like a lot of speaker trainers do and train 60 people at a time. But you know what? I couldn't give you what I want to give you, and that is that private one-on-one coaching that I believe it takes to perfect any great presentation, because we need to work on your story. Most people don't even know how to tell a story, much less, you know, they tell it like as if it already happened instead of telling it to the audience like it's happening now, and that's what we want to do. Most people don't know how to even start their speech, much less close it. So they close it with a thank you and walk away, right? And they don't get any results. And so I want you to get results. And I want you to, and the results are a flood of high-paying clients. That's what this is all about. So again, training. And again, you see it's small groups. We have a lot of fun in the training. We go and eat lunch together. Lunch is on your own, but we do eat together. We do some writing, some masterminding, having some fun. You do get certified, and you're up speaking the entire 4 days. So it's not like you're sitting there learning like this, and then you have to figure it all out and put it all together in 4 days. That's not what this is about. It is about you learning one step in my speaker system and giving it. Everybody gives it. Then it's the second step. Everybody gives it. And Bill can vouch for that. He's taken the training. So step by step, you build your speech throughout the 4 days, and you give it several times a day, and get coaching from me. All right. And we have a lot of fun. So that's a little bit about what it is. I'm going to share with you kind of, what's in it, because there's a lot more to it. But it's Thursday to Sunday, February 22nd through the 25th, or July. I only do this twice a year. So it's, it's important to take advantage of it when you can. Because I only do it twice a year. Here's one of my groups right here. We do it in Ontario, California. It's near my house. And why one of the reasons is because on Saturday night, you actually come over to my house and you meet my husband and my dogs, and I give you dinner, and I provide a catered dinner for you, and we just, have a little fun and bond and, just build our relationship. So, and you bond with, of course, each other. Most people in my class, they have created businesses with each other, seminars with each other. They've created lots of money together, lots of different kinds of people. She's a movie producer right here. She's a financial advisor. He's an insurance guy. This girl was in Woodstock, right? We find out when she's doing her story. She went to Woodstock. So I like, come on, what are you talking about? We got to bring that into your story. This gal is a school teacher and teaches private schools. So there's coaches. We made a name for his coaching in the training, Rapid Results. So we renamed his company because that's some of the things that just didn't come out of it. She's a dear friend of mine and book coach. So you see there's all different kinds of people that come through this training. The experience, with the experience, you can create more time, sales, and money. Attract your ideal client who loves you, not these blood-sucking, time-wasting energy zappers that want free coaching or free services. You'll attract your ideal clients that love you and they want to pay you. And you'll learn how to master speaking, not just speak, but master it, and make a difference, leave a legacy, your own legacy, and change lives for a living. And I'm telling you, changing lives for a living feels pretty darn good, if you ask me. Really making that difference in people's lives with your words. And when they come up to you and tell you how you changed their lives or how you're authentic or how, wonderful you are, I mean, it really feels good. You know you're on point, you know you're on purpose, you know you're on mission. And of course, you will enjoy more freedom. Not only time freedoms from work, but just more freedom knowing that you are on track, doing the right thing, and not stressing and worrying or staying up at night, worrying about how to make the bills or if you're doing the right thing or if you're on track. So it's really a great freedom. This is one of my clients, several of you know, and that's Deb. And I brought her here because I just wanted to share this. She has several testimonies, but I love this one because she says she certainly helped me expand my vision. And for me, I got to speak at Disneyland this year. Now, that is an expansion of a vision because she came to me thinking, she's never going to be able to get it. She shouldn't go after it. I mean, who is she? Blah, 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 blah. And working with me, I can see your greatness. And it's like anything. It's like if you put your hand in front of your face, you cannot see your lines. You need those coaches and mentors that pulls it out and shows you your greatness. And anyway, so it was a food and wine festival, which was a big deal. And it's like you don't think of yourself ever doing it. But when you've got the training and someone that encourages you or pushes you to say you can do it, you're good, right? And so other things, just more things can come out of this training than you can ever imagine. So we're just going to get down to the numbers in the next 3 minutes, just so you know what it is. All right, now here's these things you're going to get. You're going to get the experience, and that's $3,997, but you're going to get some other things. And that is the formulas, my attraction formulas, my instant credibility marketing pack, because how do you market yourself as a speaker, right? How do you get it out there? And get unlimited speaking engagements, plug and play stories. Right now, you may not have your own stories. But you can I'll share with you some stories that I have that I used to use in the beginning and where to get more. And you can use those until you've developed your own type of camel story. My profit pulling presentation template. So what is that? Not only my system, but my PowerPoint and exactly how I use that. You're going to get that. Order forms, because why recreate the wheel? Just use my sample order forms, give it to you in Word. You can correct everything and anything, and just use those. And clients for life scripts. Those are scripts where you're going to get scripts for how to get speaking engagements, how to get the business cards from the stage, how to do the strategy sessions from the stage. So you're going to get those in the back of your book. So you can use those. And of course, you could be with me for over a year, anything you need. And then you get the Passionately Speaking Protege Program Community. Now, what is that? That's an extra training call with me every week. Every week, Tuesdays, 4 o'clock. We do a new topic every week. And you come, and then you get 30 minutes. There's 30 minutes of training, 30 minutes of coaching. And who's ever on the call, we open it up for coaching, questions, whatever you want. So it's a way to connect with me every single week. There's not one public speaking trainer out there that does this. So it's just a benefit, it's a bonus, and you get to come in for a lifetime, which is a $4,000 value. So it's awesome. It is. It's just, and you can go in and go out and come back and come in whenever you want. So on the first day, we're going to talk about how to craft that $1 million message. We're going to do the elevator speech because that's your core message. At the very core of what it is you do. You can't develop a speech without that because it all comes back to that. And when we do the speech, we integrate everything and we repurpose everything. So I use that elevator speech, put it at the end of your professional story. We use it for your speaker introduction, and we use it in your bio. So it's so important to articulate the exact, correct, one that just makes you sing core message. And we turn it into a self-introduction that you can use in a networking group. That's another system. And then I give you that proven persuasive speaking system. And I say for any speech. That means whether it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 90 minutes, it works for every single speech. You just have to know what to take out in the 5 minutes and what to take out in the 10. And then what to leave in or what to add when you do your 60-minute or 90-minute. And we go over all of that. Secret technique to replace fear with confidence. I've got a secret technique that you've probably never heard of that I teach, and you will experiment and explore this. And boom, automatically the fear is gone. And then develop your own professional story that opens hearts. We're going to work on that. We work on that for almost an entire day. It's that important. And it's all about how to use it to build rapport, open the hearts of your listeners, so they will then open their wallets and their pocketbooks to you, or open, their pins or their Rolodex to you, whatever it is you want them to do. Okay, so even just the first day, we're talking about the value is over $6,000. The second day, now how to use that to actually attract those high-paying clients. All right, so how we start with titles, because you have to have a title that is attractive to clients. You can't just say any old thing. Questions don't work. You have to be careful of the words you use because they could turn people off, or you could turn the president that's inviting you to speak off. So we create 3 of them. We sample them in the class. Everybody votes, and we decide which are the best ones that they would come to, because that title is the only advertising or PR you really have for that particular speech. Then we want to influence your audience with other great storytelling. Great storytelling with emotional stories, with the stories with a lesson, with the success stories. You're going to learn some great storytelling. And you're going to learn how to build trust and rapport with every audience, because that is so crucial. It's not about turning on the fire hose. We've got to build rapport in the first 7.5 minutes, or no one's ever going to be able to listen to the rest of our speech. So you'll learn how to do that and speak persuasively. There's persuasive language that I'm going to teach you that you can use to close sales. Now, this isn't voodoo or any NLP or any of that. This is on the up and up. Not that anything's wrong with NLP or hypnotism, but I don't teach that stuff. There's other speakers that do that, and I'm not one of them. I'm just more down to earth, being real, and just being human and speaking authentically, and just really encouraging people to get help, the help that they need. And then grab your audience's attention and keep it. You have 3 seconds to grab your audience's attention. If you don't, then forget it. Forget, game over. They're not going to listen. They're going to be doing this with their cell phones, right? If you see those of you that came to my last one-day training, you saw nobody was doing this, not one. And that's how you can tell, right? And that's what you want. People are picking up that phone. You need training. All right, so craft that roadmap for your speech before you develop it. All right, so we always kind of like Stephen Covey, where we start with the end in mind. You're going to know the end before you even write one word of the attention grabber, because we have to know what direction with that speech do you want to go, and I teach 5 different closes. You're going to pick one. Which one of those 5 closes or in destination do you want? All right, so value of second day is 4,000. And then we still have 2 more days. So I'm just going to kind of go through this a little quickly here. Get more speaking engagements, how to turn one into many, how to create the one sheet, which is important, formula for creating it. Now, this whole time you're speaking, right? These are things we're adding while you're speaking your speech, right? Body language. So, okay, so I don't have my fourth day. Oh, maybe it's coming in a little bit. Okay, now this used to be 3-day speaker training right here. This is Janice. We're not going to read the whole thing. But here's what, then I made it 4 days because I just needed more time to help people with their story. She said she did 1 speaking engagement and she got 3 potential clients that will generate $11,300. 1 speaking engagement. That's 30 grand, right? That's what I'm talking about here. So who is this for? Anybody who thinks their speaking is like Clark Kent, but want to be more like Superman. Or if you're a woman, Superwoman or Wonder Woman. All right? Okay. Okay, so Mary says, what about getting speaking engagements for a living versus just getting clients? Absolutely. You can get speaking engagements for a living and speak and become a professional speaker. Now, let me warn you, this is the biggest lie that people want or think. They think that they can, right out the chute, learn how to speak and make a living at public speaking. And I'm going to tell you, no. That's just like if you wanted to be an actor or an actress. Now, you might get a role over here, a role over here. Why? Because people don't know you yet. You haven't proved yourself. And unless you're the guy with no arms and no legs, you're not going to get a ton of money. Now, the guy from Zappos, right? The CEO of Zappos. Everybody kept wanting him to speak. And he's not a speaker. He doesn't want to speak. He wants to be with his business. So he charges $75,000 for a speech. Now, if you're in demand like that, then yes. But otherwise, you can make more money by speaking and getting clients off the bat. Do that for a year or 2. Then go into the professional speaking arena. Now, I get paid to speak all the time, but I don't get paid without my teaching business. It won't be enough to live my lifestyle. So just be careful of that, all right? Think of it in terms of if you were an actor, are you going to get paid $1 million for a movie, right? It took that Carey guy years before he got his first million for a movie. All right, so what this is for is anyone who wants to learn more, make more money, and get their message out to the world and make a difference. Now, I had a couple options, right? I could go as cheap as possible, right? And then get more people in the room, and then I wouldn't have as much coaching time for you. And I could have made you go home and try to figure it all out. And you would have failed, and that means I would have failed. So instead, I decided to make a higher investment, keep the class small, so I could devote more time, energy, and resources to you so that you could come out of there ready Monday morning to go out and speak, ready with your signature talk done. Everything is done in the class, not done for you. You are doing the work in the 4 days. It's done. It's your words. It's your work. You get a sense of pride knowing that you came out, that you did the work, and it's all done in those 4 days. Now, here's Angela, and I'm almost done, so bear with me here, all right? Bear with me. Angela, I used to, she was in a speaking circuit that I heard her a couple of times, and she tells this story about how her 2 sons were in an accident when she was overseas serving. And she wasn't connected, just not connected. It kind of fell flat. She came through this 4-day speaker training intensive. We worked with her story, which was her whole testimony is a story. Got her reconnected to the truth of how she really felt. And she told the story as if she was telling it for the first time. Next thing you know, she's on my stage, right? Because I often bring my students to my stages. And she's telling her testimony, her story. And one of my friends that's in the audience is a movie producer, not the one I showed you, not the girl, but a guy who's a movie producer. And I had a panel and had him and some other people on my panel. And so he stuck around, heard her story, and next thing you know, he goes up to her and says, I want to produce your movie. Your movie! So here she is at her debut. This is my friend. I'm in the audience. She introduces me as her mentor. And she is a movie star now. She's got her own documentary of her life and of her story. Now, I can't promise you a movie, but I can't promise you a thing if you don't take the first step. She would have never been there if it wasn't for that speaker training. He would have just passed her on by. If you say no, the answer is already no, meaning you won't be a movie star. If you say no to training, then everything you want to do is already a no. Say yes to training, and then you might get a movie. You might get a big speaking engagement like Jenny did. You might get your own, you'll get your own seminars like Hector did, right? Those are just or go to Disneyland like Deb did. Those are just a tiny bit of fraction of the success stories that I have to share with you, because I've trained over 5,000 people, right? Okay, so fourth day, how to build your business with speaking. That's really important. Okay, now how to put it all together, how to build your business with it. The speaker wheel and all the components necessary to do that. The follow-up system that after you speak, how to set that speaking up on autopilot and follow up easily. The 5 different closes, we're going to cover that on the last day. And then big things, how to handle hecklers. How to handle hecklers, show-offs that are in your room, because they can mess you up faster than anything. You could be confident, be on your game, and you could have one bozo in the room that messes it up. Well, I have techniques that you can use that will prevent that from happening. And then when to use PowerPoint and when to avoid it. Most people use it much too often, and they use it as a crutch. It disconnects you from the audience. So it's really important for you to know when to use it and when not to use it. And then the final showcase presentation, and then we open it up to feedback. Now, I don't let anybody in the classroom in the 4 days give you training or feedback. I'm the only coach in the room. They don't say anything because it could get confusing. They're not trained. They're not a coach. You didn't come to listen to them. But at the very end, once they've all gone through the process, they can give you feedback. And by then, it's always positive, and it's always how you grew. And it's just a loving, empowering experience. And so again, that value is over 4,000. So add it all up. For the whole training, it's $18,000 worth of value. So if you picked and went to coaching with me for individual a la carte, that's what it would cost you. All right, and especially because it'd be one-on-one, but because I can do it in a small group. Oh, and here's Bill. This is Bill who's on the webinar. Bill said what the step-by-step method does is take you through a speech and helps you to dissect it and put together the different parts you need. And they all fit well together, like a puzzle. It is literally a system that you go from point A to point B to point C. If you stay with a system, you come out with a wonderful speech, ready to go Monday morning to get you clients and pay for your training. All right, so a couple of bonuses before we end our call tonight. Remember, I did say it was going to be 75 minutes, so thank you for hanging with me. First bonus is 2 private coaching hour one-on-one with me, right? And you could come to my office. You can, we could do it over Zoom like we're doing now, whatever you like. And so you can have one of those before your training, one after, or just take them both after. Now, they do have to be used within the first 2 years, because I don't want something collecting and then all of a sudden I'm caught off guard 5 years from now with 20 people. And they don't do you any good that long. So you do want to use them up after the training. Use them up within the first 2 years. All right, bonus 2, you can attend again. Now, I never give this bonus. I only gave it one other time. So you can come twice, as long as there's room. You're not the first candidates, but as long as there's room, you can come a second time again within the first 2 years for free. All right, this is huge because a lot of people, they'll come in and then sometimes they change their business, right? They come in with one idea and one passion, and then, you know, life happens, life changes, and then they're doing something else, or they're doing coaching now. So they want to come in with another signature talk. So this is huge, huge. I never do this. So again, 10 people. I have 3 spots left in January. So, or February, excuse me. I have 3 spots left in February. So I want you to jump on that so that you can have it for the whole rest of the year. All right. And also for signing up tonight, pay in full. Now you can pay payments. We'll work it out, whatever it is. Now you have to pay it before the training though. If you want to pay payments until February, it has to be paid in full, you know, by February 22nd. No ands, ifs, or buts. Because once you learn my system, you've got my IP, that's the end, you know, that's that. So it has to be paid, and you don't get the discount. So it's $3,997. But if you pay in full, which shows I'm all in and I don't have to mess around and be your bank, I want to reward you by giving you a $500 discount. So if you sign up for in the next 60 minutes, then you'll get that $500 discount. I don't know about you, but $500 is a lot, right? But I'm willing to give it to you just because that's the way I am. All right, so what's included now? We've got, you know, the price of the program, price of what you'll learn, the $18,000, the bonus of coaching, plus the 2 you can attend twice. So that's $7,994 value right there. And again, the total value of all those things is $42,000. So wow, that's huge, 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 huge. Okay. All right. Now, again, pay in full in the next 60 minutes. And I'm going to tell you how to do that because you can't go to any website, because if you go to my website, it's going to say $3,997. All right. So this is just a discount for you here because you showed up. And here's what I'm looking for. All right. I'm looking for people who are invisible right now in their market or feel that they are, and they might be a little scared to play big, and they understand that coaching is the one investment that is fundamental to their success. Those are the kind of people, all right, that I want to work with. Okay. Okay. So Mary, pay in full amount is $3,497 within the next 60 minutes. And I'm going to tell you in a minute how you get that, because you can't go to my website because that says $3,997. So again, $500 off of $3,997, making it $3,497, and you can come twice and you can get 2 hours of coaching and I got some other fun things for you too. Now here's Bethany that went through the training. Arvee speaker training was amazing. She has it set up for when you walk in, you not only learn her system, but you actually walk out with your signature speech done, your story done, and all the tools you need that you can literally turn around immediately and begin booking speaking engagement. I've never seen a program that allows you to walk out with completed tools that you can put to use immediately, right? And that's what I'm talking about. It's huge, right? It's huge. Okay, so if all this training did was get you 1 client, would that be worth it? What is 1 client worth to you? It's 1 client, and then say the life of the client. What is that worth to you, right? 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 or more. Most people's clients are worth a lot more, especially the life of the client, even if it's transactional based, right? Even if it's like you know, Legal Shield or something like that, where it's a continuous monthly fee. That client, once they have Legal Shield, they probably have it for the rest of their life. That's huge. Or even if it was, you know, a transaction product, even like accounting or finance, you know, put the life of the client by adding a 0, and you'll see it really adds up to a lot. So how much are you now paying for just 1 client? If you're going to networking and not speaking, how much is it costing you? And add all those up before you get that 1 client. It could be thousands of dollars, thousands, all right? Now, people also pay me $4,500 for 1 day for a private power day. So you see now that even at $4,000, it's really a good deal for 4 days. And again, if you pay in full today, it's $34.97. All right, just because you're here and you showed up and stayed on the call. Now, you have a couple options, right? You could do nothing and not take this leap of faith and just sit there like, you are, and that's okay. Or you can actually pony up the investment today compared to all the value you're going to get. Give it a shot and start changing lives for a living, getting your message out there, making a difference, feeling like you're on top of the mountain, like on top of Mount Sinai. It is really a great, great feeling to change lives. Now, there's a 30-day guarantee. If for any reason before the training you decide you can't come because of scheduling or whatever it might be, or if you get sick, let me know. You can have your money back. Again, I'm interested in training you more than I am the money, right? The money's not going to change my life, but it will change your life in a heartbeat. So just let me know. As long as it's before the training, no worries. Don't worry about it. Okay? All right. So is it worth the gamble? Gambling a few minutes of your time to check it out, which even if it does half of what I promised on this webinar, it would pay for itself. First speech. All right. So let me show you how to get it. We could talk about it too. If you need to talk about it a little bit more, all you have to do is text me right now on my phone and just say I want in. What I'll do is then I'll call you, we'll talk about it, we'll work out either the budget, the payment plan, or whatever it is, or the credit card processing, whatever you want to do. But I'm looking for 3 people because that's all I have room for. So the first 3 that text me at that number and just say, I want in, and text me within the next hour. And I'm saying texting because I might be on the phone talking. I'll be on the phone talking to some other candidates. So just text me, I want in, and I will call you right back. All right, sound good? Everybody say yes? Excellent. All right, last story to tell it to people. Now, one of my potential clients that was on this webinar, I won't say her name just in case you know her, but we're going to call her Mary. And Mary had an opportunity to work with me 5 years ago. Now, this training, like your training, has gone up, right? Because it's better. I've added a day. It's, it's better. I have less people. I mean, all the way around. I'm better, right? It's better. And she didn't take the training, right? And Bob, I'm going to call him Bob. Bob did take the training. Now, Mary is in the same position that she was 5 years ago, working in a dead-end job for $15 an hour and not living her dream, which was to be a television interview host. Right? That was her dream. And she's still making the same amount of money. Now, she works for the studio, but she's not behind the camera because she doesn't know how to speak. Bob, on the other hand, took the leap of faith, went to the training, and Bob opened up a very successful business executive coaching business and is making close to $7K now, just in coaching. He's created coaching, he's created events, and he's created a mastermind. And this is where he got started. So it's entirely up to you. I hope that you take the leap of faith and join, because I'll tell you what, it's never going to be any less money than it is today. I'm never going to offer that second option where you can come twice. That just doesn't happen. So I would take advantage of it right now. Don't stop. Text me right now with I want in, and we'll talk and we'll get you signed up. So that's it for tonight. Write down my number. I want to thank each and every one of you for all of your grace and all of your time and all of your participation. And I look forward to working with you and helping you get your message out to the world and making a huge difference. Because I believe that if you can't say it, you sure can't sell it. Mwah. God bless you. Thank you so much for being here.